Go.
All right. What's poppin', party people? Y'all know what it is. It's the Pundits of Pugilism popping up for another popping segment. This is your man, Professor Nims. I'm signing on for Boston Jared,
What up?
the Casual Rand.
What up, though?
We're hoping that Coach Dave will interject at some point tonight. We are
Yeah, man. Yeah.
the Pundits of Pugilism, and we're gonna just kind of chime in for a quick segment to talk about this weekend's fight. There were fights or whatnot, but right now we're gonna focus on the unification bout at super welterweight, junior middleweight. This was the bout between Tszyu and your boy Sebastian Fundora. And in this fight, your boy Fundora won a unanimous decision in this fight, which was a
No,
fight that
split
was
decision.
split. It
Split.
was split decision. My bad. So split decision win, and he becomes a unified champion. And from what I've seen, he looks like kind of like some food, like some blood in the water when it comes to these sharks in the division because they all came out and they are looking for this fight with him. But let's first talk about give a breakdown of the fight, what we thought about the fight, how it turned out. There's a little bit of controversy that went along with it, but also the what is the kind of logical next step for each of these fighters. So, Boston Jared, we'll start with you. Kind of give us your thoughts on this fight and how it played out, and if it kind of was in alignment with what you how you thought this fight would go.
Well, no, it wasn't at all. It started off in alignment with how I thought the fight went. It was really the first three rounds. It was dictated heavily by Tim Tszyu's straight left hand, that he was able to land
Well,
almost at.
straight right hand, right? You want to say
I'm
Tim's
sorry, that's right. Zoo is orthodox, so it was.
orthodox, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a straight. Sorry, excuse. Thank you. It was a straight right hand of Tim Tszyu that he was really able to land at will. Fundora came out and tried to box tall and tried to box long. Um, Tszyu did a good job of getting his lead hand on the inside and able to try to judge distance with the jab, avoiding that lead hand of Fundora, kind of sneaking it around. The other thing that Tim Tszyu did a very, very good job of, well, it was more Fundora not doing it. Fundora has such big, heavy feet. I don't know what size shoe this kid wears. It looks like he wears about a size 20 shoe. He is very, very, very flat-footed. And what Tim Tszyu was able to do was win the battle of the foot placement. He
Yep.
was able to constantly get his lead foot on the outside of Fundora's lead foot. And that is how he was able to land that straight right hand. And he really did a number on Fundora. Coming into the fourth round, Fundora had blood just pouring
Out
out
his
of his
mouth.
nose. I believe it was a third at the end of the third round, pouring out of his nose and out of
Mm.
his mouth.
Do you think he had a broken nose because his nose was still bleeding after the bout? But
It had to have been broken. If you look at his
yeah,
nose into the fight, man, it's all kind of swelling around the septum area. His nose had to have been broken. If it wasn't broken, it was fucked up good because there was blood. It was hemorrhaging blood
Yeah.
the 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 whole night. And I'm not sure if the cut happened at the end of the third round or if it was the end of the fourth round. But the cut, a lot of people will tell you, and I'm inclined to agree to an extent, that that cut. Oh, good, we got Dave coming in. That cut changed the fight significantly. What I noticed was that one, not only did the cut change the fight, but two, Sebastian Fundora made a very, very interesting adjustment. In that first three rounds of the fight, where he was getting caught with that straight right hand, he was going straight back, going back in straight lines, trying to avoid that lead, that overhand right. Now, the adjustment that Fundora makes in the fourth round to the fifth round is instead of going straight back, he jabs, jabs. He takes a very, very small step back. And when he sees Tszyu try to close that distance, he turns to his right. And as he turns to his right, Tim Tszyu is unable to land that right hand. It made it very, very tough. The distance was never quite there. The other thing, obviously, was the ridiculous amounts of fucking blood that is pouring into Tim Tszyu's eye. Anybody who's been in the ring before, with one eye, it is very, very, very tough to perceive depth. Your depth perception is all off, especially if you're a left eye dominant guy and there's blood in that left eye constantly and you're working off of that rear eye. Very, very, very tough to judge distance. And as Fundora is stepping back and turning, right hand is never, ever quite there again for Tim Tszyu, at least up top. He tried to bring it downstairs a couple times and just not enough volume, not enough consistency. And as Tszyu kind of faded, Fundora came on. It wasn't a whole lot of crazy shit Fundora was doing, just real basic. Jab, jab, step back, turn. He did a good job of looping that left hand around the guard of Tim Tszyu at times too. So look, a lot of people will have you believe it was the cut that completely changed the fight. The cut definitely had an impact, but there were also some adjustments that Fundora made that helped him get the victory in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think both things can be true, but to me, I think that the most consequential thing that happened was the cut. Because you talked about losing one eye, but to me, from what I've seen, it was he had a mass. He had a crimson mass. So blood was probably getting into both of those eyes, and it's just that is one of the hardest probably things to deal with. And I don't want to critic because I was kind of like joking, like, yeah, like I would have been able to stop that cut, but that was a deep cut, probably in one of the worst positions that you could have because it does drain into both eyes.
And his corner was completely, whoever's in his corner needs to be horsewhipped. These guys were completely and utterly unprepared to deal with that cut. They're cramming Vaseline into it. There was no coagulant being used or anything like that. I wanted to ask Coach Dave about that specifically. I know Dave had a lot of stuff he wanted to touch on, but his corner seemed completely unprepared to deal with a cut like that.
All right. The Captain Rand, like, give us your impressions, because I mean, from our conversations that we had earlier, you felt that Tim Tszyu kind of had the fight. I wouldn't say in hand, but he was in control for the most part. And
yeah, I think after the second round, man, that Tim Tszyu had control of that fight, and I just disagree with Boston on those changes that Fundora made. I don't think those changes equated to anything. I think that Tszyu caught the timing of those jabs, and it was like paired like soft jab, soft jab, then throw the two, and then he started timing them, and he started busting them up when he timed them, and then my thing is, I wholeheartedly believe that the cut changed the dynamic of the fight, and I blame Tszyu for the outcome. You could have took that cut two ways, right? Like, because it was like, I think it was at the end of the third, because I remember the announcer saying something like after the fourth round, then it's called. You know what I'm saying? Or
Well,
whatever.
they can, like, it becomes about, right?
Yeah.
If it
After the
stopped
fourth
before
round, they
the
stop it,
third
and then it
round,
goes to the
yeah,
card.
yeah.
So it had to been like the third, right? So my thing, Tszyu was hurt. He knew he was hurt. You know what I'm saying? He bleeding profusely. Instead of going to get it and trying to end this early, you know what I'm saying? He almost went into survival mode. Like, let me see what I can do. And round after round, I'm like, all right, let me see what I can do. Let me see what I could do. And then, yeah, like y'all said, the blood in the eye it wasn't only blood. If you like what Boston Jared said, they was packing Vaseline on it. So just imagine Vaseline and blood going in both of your eyes, and you still trying to fight. That I mean, Tszyu should have ballsed up, grabbed his balls, and tried to get him out of there. There was never a time where he was like, man, I need to get knocked out. I'm gonna knock this fucker out so we can end this shit.
Well, Fundora was fighting back too. It wasn't like Fundora was just standing.
But when he went inside and when they was doing those little exchanges, he still got the better of Fundora on every exchange. So you know what I'm saying? And at no point he really ever pressed it, was like, look, man, I need to get this because, you know what I'm saying? I'm losing rounds. I'm bleeding out my ass. You know what I'm saying? Let me get it. And every round after that, it was like almost survival. Like, you know what I'm saying? He'll mess up. I hit him. Or, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully I can hit him and stun him. But shit, if you can't see him, then you know you wasn't going to win. And I think he was resigned after the 10th round. I think they were resigned to the fact that they knew they were going to lose that fight. Because when they announced it, there was no like shock or no whatever. They was like, yeah, we lost it. And then, but I'll let Dave talk, and then we come back and talk about the reactions and stuff. But yeah.
But I mean, to me, that is pretty surprising. Yeah, because it was a split decision. So it was a close fight, and at least one of the judges gave the fight.
No, that was bullshit. That was just like them saying Raleigh was up in his fight against Cruz.
What? They had Rolly up in that fight?
I think they said
I didn't watch, so I don't want to.
One of the judges had Raleigh up before they
Raleigh. Yeah, like North Carolina.
yeah, but anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, that it wasn't a split decision. He lost, but you know what I'm saying? But he lost. Fundora, those pussy ass jabs that he was throwing, you know what I'm saying? If you blind and you getting hammer bombed, yeah, they're gonna be effective. But during the first 2-3 rounds, you know what I'm saying? Tszyu was eating them just like he was eating Harrison jabs.
Right, but it was a 12-round fight, Randy, and that jab was able to set up that looping left hand that he started landing around that guard. And as Tszyu started to press, he started to land that. He landed a couple of uppercuts on Tszyu that made Tim Tszyu really have to step back. I thought he hurt him a couple times. Honestly, I'm curious
to see what Coach
Dave. No, not in the first 3 rounds.
Okay, after the cut, man, it's a whole different fight. You know what I'm saying? If no fight,
okay,
then I say he would have been knocked out.
Yeah, it's a 12-round fight, but I mean, your eyes are one of the most critical things that you have, and when those
exactly.
I understand that, Tim. To be for the record here, there was nothing to. I mean, Tszyu literally ran his head into Fundora's elbow. There wasn't anything dirty.
It was accidental, and
that shit happens. That shit happens in fights. I mean, Fundora is swallowing blood for 12 rounds, also. So, but I get it. Yes, blood and Vaseline in the eyes. It is tough. That's tough.
I want to bring in Coach, but also I have a theory that one of the cut men Stitch put out there. But Coach, you were particularly, I guess, critical of Tim Tszyu in this fight. Right? You saw some flaws in there. Can you kind of enlighten the audience to some of the things that you didn't appreciate about Tim Tszyu?
So let me say, and if I do a repeat, 100%, man, because the only one I really heard was a casual one. So 100%, everything he said was spot on. So really, it's just maybe a little bit of a reiteration with maybe a little subtle nuances from my end on the stuff. All right. So look, number one. All right. So before the cut, let's be crystal clear. Tszyu won't doing really nothing but maybe touching him with that right hand, maybe to the sternum. Like when he would throw that right hand to the solar plex, that was pretty solid and on point. But you're supposed to be a masterful inside fighter. And I remember we even had a fan of Pop Talk, appreciate the support, who kind of got in my stuff because I was saying, look, man, this Tszyu ain't really no true inside fighter, right? So what I'm getting at is, even before the cut, man, if that right hand is touching him dead in his sternum, in his solar plex, you still could have swung that left hook, man, right round to that joker. Just come on, man. Not even on, and you know, I'm talking about it could have hit a solid liver shot. And plus, Fundora was fighting daggone southpaw, which puts the livers on your right side of your body. It puts it closer to you. But Tszyu was just throwing one punch, and his corner kind of gave it away because when the announcer or somebody, one of the broadcasters went to talk to his corner, even the corner said, "Yeah, well, we think he can catch him with a big shot and get up out of here." You got a joker that's 6 foot 100 feet tall. And you only throwing one like power shot to his midsection, maybe one up top. You ain't trying to get up inside there and work that body. No. That means that something is lacking in your systematic approach to getting up inside and dismantling somebody's internal organs. He is not all of that. And with somebody that's 6'6", you can definitely do it. And his jab was not like a Larry Holmes jab, talking about Fundora. And then the second thing, God knows Casual Rand hit it on the head. Marvin Hagler, bloody. They almost stopped the fight with him and Thomas Hearns. That joker went at it. I think that might have been the word that the Casual Rand used. Tszyu didn't go at it. And listen, I understand the stuff about blood coming in your eye, but there's also always sweat even coming into your eye. Now, there was a factor where they just put this freaking glob of Vaseline up on there, and so stuff could have been coming out. But hey, look, man, Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull, man, we done seen bloody masks way more than that, and people still get up in there. If you was totally, absolutely blind, then you'd have been walking around that sucker like Stevie Wonder. The blood, don't let it all deceive you. There is still some visual, perception and stuff up in there. And even if you can't really see, it's better to be up in there feeling that thing and busting them internal organs. Tim Tszyu is not as strong on the inside fighting as people claim he is. And that junk got exposed because he just couldn't even get to Fundora's body with a plan, an inside fight plan, even before he got the cut. You can't just throw one punch, and I know that solar plex can fold a person. That solar plex, we saw Tank hit somebody in the solar plex, it can fold a person. But it takes a whole lot of accuracy, and that shot got to land solid, man. Tszyu had no plan of attack, of getting on the inside and breaking this man down, even before he got cut. That was just so obvious to me. So I think, I don't know if I would say it was close, and because he went into survival mode. I think Randy even said that. So really, I ain't got a lot to say. My only sort of nuance would be, look at how he attacked the body or didn't attack the body prior to the cut happening, because that is indicative of your fight plan. And all I saw was try to stab him hard with that right hand, maybe to the body, try to sneak it up top a little bit, And even before he got cut, he was still doing a lot of head hunting, to the point where there was a couple of hooks he threw where he was jumping off his feet, trying to hit this joke in the head.
But Dave, to be clear though, he found a home for that right hand early and often in that fight. I mean, he had this guy's face leaking blood, right?
Hey, I mean, where was the hook behind the right hand?
I'm with you.
I said he found the hook up top. And then listen, and to be clear, it only takes one shot to get somebody leaking. Okay, I got that. But the thing about it though, what I'm saying though, man, is that you go into there with a fight plan. This guy is 6'6". You're supposed to be a master body snatcher to the where whatever. So whatever dude, he has no plan. And I blame that corner, man, not even just for that cut, bro. And it ain't even about the coagulant, because you can't have coagulant, but that epinephrine is
that's what I was. Yeah, because
my fault. Wait, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Some states do not allow coagulant. I remember when I was serving as a cut man, I got some from like CVS, and then they stopped me right there about trying to apply some coagulant. So with that, so they might have been at the mercy of the resources that they were allowed. But let me interject with this. So there was one theory put out by Jacob Stitch Duran, who's probably one of the more, famous cut men that we know. And then he felt that the corner let down Tszyu in the fact that he felt that they should have petition to have the fight stopped because his fighter was so compromised, and that after they got past 4 rounds and or maybe even 5th round when they thought that they had enough of a kind of a lead that they should have petitioned to have the fight stopped. So what are your thoughts on taking that route? Is that it's not in the spirit of pugilism, right? In like fighting for what
but
we know.
That would have been a gamble on Zoo part because Zoo get like either the first or second round. I remember Dave saying that it was 1-1. But the only real punch I saw was Zoo like hit him flush with the right and snapped his head back and he smiled after that. That was that. I don't know if that was the first or the second. So going into the 4th round, he might have been down on the card. So that might have been Zoo. He was getting jabbed at the whole, you know what I'm saying? That jab was there the whole fight. Now, come on now. You can't say the jab.
I didn't score the fight. I didn't score the fight, but I bet you if we look at the first 4 rounds of that fight, I don't think anybody has got
Ring, you thought that
Fundora
after the first 4 rounds? That doesn't jive with that combo.
I'm not saying that they were close. I'm saying that it was possibly they could. Dave had it 1-1 after 2. So you know what I'm saying? So
I did, man. I had one. I think Randy's right, dog. It could have been a gamble. It could have been a gamble, bro. Now, because they had another chance to stop it. Remember, like right before round 7, I believe they took a solid another look at it as well.
Yeah.
So that could have been a gamble. It was definitely 7 would have been a gamble. You know,
you could hear Harvey Doc ask the ref, the ringside doctor. He tried to cover his microphone, but he didn't do a good enough job of covering his mic because you could hear Harvey. Harvey's like, yo, should we stop it? And the doctor is like, it's not really affecting the fight. And the cut, despite it not being in a good place, right, because it's leaking blood, that cut, it wasn't like a Tyson Fury cut where it's like a gigantic vagina on your eyelid. I mean, those are the where you see the cuts stop, get the fight stopped, but it's close by the eye. But right there on the top of your head, it bleeds a lot, but But as far as Cam's question, go ahead, Dave. What were you gonna say?
I'm just curious though, man, honestly, to hear y'all thoughts, man, about Zoo's whole approach, even like before the cut, like just because you see somebody hit somebody with a body shot that lets him hit him with a body shot in other fights, this guy has no approach or attack. It bothered me that he could not get solidly to Fundora's body. And I'm just wondering what y'all think about that, because I'm telling you, man, anybody can hit hard to the body if you cover up and just let you get hit. And I'm not taking nothing from his game, but this cat is not the inside fighter would say he is, bro.
I'll answer. Well, first, we'll answer Cam's question. As far as Stitch Duran saying that they should have stopped the fight, what Randy is saying, maybe that did factor into the back of their heads. Maybe it was a bit of they thought it might have been a gamble. They thought this kid's out on his feet kind of already. We got him hurt badly. He's bleeding. Let's get here and get this guy out of here. The other angle is the business and the politics side of boxing when it comes to this. This is the opening event for PBC on Amazon. You do not want a fight that ends in controversy. Not after you bent over backwards, probably got paid a little extra money to take a guy like Fundora on very, very short notice. Would not have been a good look from a business standpoint to call it quits after 4th round. After 4 rounds, I mean. And look at, despite Tim Tszyu losing this fight did a lot for PBC as a brand. That was as good of a card that you could have, considering the card was salvaged, that was as good of an outcome as you could have, PBC or Amazon could have imagined, considering the circumstances. So that's one. So pulling out, probably not pulling out, but quitting after 4 rounds, 5 rounds, a gamble on 2 fronts. Now, as far as Dave's question goes, I do think that he came at their fight plan for this was not very multifaceted. I think they really, really looked heavily at the Brian Mendoza fight and they figured, man, Mendoza caught this kid in an exchange, caught him 1 time, 2 times, and that was it. Man, we hit way harder than Brian Mendoza. We just beat Mendoza's ass. If Mendoza can do this to Fundora, we can do this to Fundora. And I think that they went into this thing not having the respect for Fundora's durability that they probably should have. 1, 2, he only had 2 weeks to prepare for this fight. And I believe they flew in one of the Fox brothers. It was either Michael or the other Fox. I can't think of the other Fox brother's name. Neither one of those kids are 6'6". They're tall. They have very, very long arms, but they're not 6'6". So again, look, I understand Dave being critical of Tszyu, but we have to factor in all this, consider all the factors here, right? 2 weeks to prepare for a 6'6" southpaw is less than ideal. So, I mean,
well, he's a professional. He's a professional fighter. You done had several times of you should at least have some approach to know how to fight a tall guy. And then let's also give up props though. So when I say looking at the holistic look, this is a prime example of it. And when I say that corner, that preparation, man, nobody expected Fundora to come in there with that jab. As ugly as it was, nobody thought Fundora was going to just be coming in that joker with that jab. And Boston hit it on the head, man. That Mendoza, they was looking to kind of, he's gonna be in close, so that overhand right or whatever was gonna be up in there. They wasn't expecting this guy to come in that jab. So kudos to Fundora's team to have this guy finally, and it was ugly. And not only was it ugly, it was so still underdeveloped. You got a 6'6" person punching downward. Bro, you could have slipped to the side of that jab and been on that thing. I'm talking about you could have pushed that man's navel up to his chest, make it look like he got nipples. He could have been up in there on his boy.
Fundora isn't the most multi-dimensional fighter either. Neither one of these guys are the most skillful of guys.
Really, I think Tszyu has some underrated skills.
But it is though, Cam, and I thought about this. It's not so much, and again, we've covered this. It's not so much special effects. It's a lot of guile and caginess, and I think I think that's what it is. He has, considering what Dave just said, this might sound a little bit crazy. I think he's got an underrated ring IQ. He's got a very, very good chin, which encourages him to take chances sometimes that a lot of guys might not take. And he has a lot of experience in his corner. He has his pops. He has the guy out of Australia with the real prominent guy, and he's got his uncle Igor too, who has worked a lot with that Russian amateur program. He's got some experienced guys, despite the poor performance this weekend. He's got some experienced guys, and he gets by. He gets the most out of what he has. Fundora, I don't think gets the most out of what he has, but he tries. He's very, very, very flat-footed. He's very, very flat-footed, and he's very, very, very stiff. I mean, his head is always in the same place at the same time.
So let's use that as a way to kind of segue into it. Do we want to break up this segment?
Yeah, we should, because this one ran a little bit long. How long was this one?
This is right at 30 minutes. So let's
segue. Let's do the next one. Let's stop here.